Welcome to the Gym and Tonic Podcast. I'm your host, Shanae Kunsa from SK Bodyworks. This is a podcast where I share valuable education, insight, and strategies around all things health, fitness, nutrition, weight loss, and mindset, mixed in with some laughs, a whole lot of balance, and a few ums along the way. If you're ready to make your weight loss and fitness goals a reality, you've come to the right place, because through these episodes, I'm going to help you live a healthy but balanced life, lose the weight, and become the best version of you possible. Let's go, girlfriend. Hello, lovely lady. Before we dive into today's episode, I quickly wanted to let you know that I currently have a few spots open for my group coaching program called Weight Loss Formula. Weight Loss Formula is my signature 12-week-long group coaching program that would teach you my step-by-step formula to finally lose the weight for good, get fit, and feel energized. All without dieting, without giving up your favorite foods, or spending hours working out. This program is for the woman who is done with feeling and living less than what she knows she's meant for, and is ready to do the work to transform her life, her body, and her waistline. So if you're interested in signing up for Weight Loss Formula or finding out more to see if it's a good fit for you, DM me WLF on my socials at SK Bodyworks, and we can chat further. All right, let's dive into today's episode. Hello and welcome back to the Gym and Tonic podcast. We are recording episode 10 today, which is double digits, and I'm actually so excited because we have had almost 250 downloads on the podcast so far, which really excites me, especially because it's been more than a few months now since I've launched, but I have been really, occupied the last maybe 2 months or so with some other things in my business, so I haven't actually put as much time and intention behind these episodes. However, in saying that, that is actually going to be changing moving forwards, and I've got some incredible guests lined up to come on the podcast, and yes, I'm so excited. So thank you so much for those that have been coming back each fortnight or each month to listen, and if you are enjoying these episodes, I would love for you to send me a message on my socials and let me know, your takeaways from these episodes, what you like to hear, if you have any episode suggestions, and even more so, if you could rate, review this podcast, it would mean so much to me, and it will help me be able to get in more e-holes. Okay, so today's episode, we are going to be diving into November's challenge, and I'm going to be completely transparent with you. I am absolutely winging today's episode. I normally have a bit of, a structure in terms of a few dot points to give me a rough idea of sort of the direction I'm taking the episode in, and so I don't sort of forget to cover off on anything. But today I have absolutely nothing, and I am just doing it off the top of my head. So this is your reminder to actually just trust yourself and just do the thing. Even if you don't feel the most prepared, or even if you don't feel capable, confident, whatever it might be, this is your sign to trust yourself and just do the thing. And before I actually do dive into November's challenge, I've had a few of you actually reach out and ask me how my 75 hard challenge is going. And if you don't know, if you haven't listened to my previous podcast episodes, or you don't follow me on socials and have been keeping up with my stories, I started the 75 hard challenge, well, actually my own version of the 75 hard challenge, in the end of September. Today is currently day 36, so I am literally so close to the halfway mark now, and it has been going amazing, and I am actually quite impressed and proud of myself of how easy these actions are seamlessly starting to feel in my day-to-day life now. Even though, at the beginning it felt like, oh, this is a real big stretch for me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, but I'm going to commit to it and do it anyway. So we're in day 36 out of 75, and I have been hella consistent with all of the actions, except for one, this last 1 week. And that particular action, if you don't know, the 5 actions that I set for myself to do for the 75 days was basically some things that were aligned with the changes I'm wanting to make in my life, and basically to help me track in the direction that I'm wanting to go, right? And one of the actions was finishing work by 5:45 p.m. at the latest. And I have been, and like I really surprised myself with that, because that was one of the actions that I was like, oh, like I'm gonna do it, but it just felt like a really big stretch. And I literally have done it consistently except for this last week, and I actually didn't really think about having some time off and leading up to having this time off, like hitting deadlines and things like that. So I have had to actually make some compromises in relation to that particular action, which is a bit of a bummer, but also it's like life is always going to be life, right? And I guess I'm actually recording this episode on a Monday, which I don't even know what the date is today. What's the date? It's the 28th of October. And obviously this episode drops on Friday, which is the 1st of November. But I have a short week this week with work, because I will be going up the coast later this week to, well, actually mid this week, to celebrate one of my best friends' wedding, which I'm so excited for. But if you know what it's like having time off in your business or time off work, and like, you know, having time off, it's like, sometimes it's like, is it worth it? Because you come back and you're like trying to cram, you know, 5 days of work into like 2 or 3 days. But no, it totally is worth it, and you absolutely deserve the time off, and I deserve this little break. And I'm so excited to celebrate. But anyways, let's move on. And just once more, I guess, in relation to the 75 hard challenge, like I said, because I had quite a few of you actually reach out and asked about it. And I think a lot of it was also in interest of, you know, them particular ladies doing it themselves. And, you know, I do encourage you to do something like that if you feel like you need that challenge. And, you know, go back and listen to my previous monthly challenge, not last month, the one before. So that would be, that'll be September's challenge. And that's when I talk a little bit more about 75 hard there. But if you let your excuses and your comfort zone win time and time again, you are never going to live the reality or the life that you desire. And, you know, that can actually be a really hard truth to hear. And like, that's the very reason I started my own version of 75 hard. Because like I said, life is always going to be life, and, you know, excuses and I guess our comfort zone may be the quote unquote easier option at times, you know, but that's going to actually lead us down the harder route, because, you know, not living the life that you want to live, not feeling confident in your skin, not having energy, not feeling your best, whether that's physically or mentally, you know, not moving your body, you know, not having the fitness to keep up with your kids or your children, you know, not feeling comfortable in the outfits that you try on or the ones that you have in your wardrobe, you know, not living your life to the fullest, and, you know, I guess enjoying life experiences and, you know, the joys that life has to offer, that we're letting pass by. And, you know, even things like just not fueling your body with whole foods, whilst allowing yourself to enjoy what I like to call soul foods, or, you know, not feeling good in your routine or with your sleep, or, you know, the habits that you engage in daily. And I guess ultimately, like, not stepping into the best version of you, all of that is harder than, you know, the quote unquote hard of changing your habits, you know, getting out of your comfort zone, doing the scary thing, doing something differently, and ultimately, you know, changing your life. So I guess this is your reminder, like, what is your hard going to be? Is it going to be staying in your comfort zone, staying in the same place, circling around in the same behaviors that aren't getting you towards your goals or the desired reality that you want to live? Or is it getting out of your comfort zone, you know, challenging yourself? Yes, that's hard, but, you know, ultimately taking the steps to achieve your goals. Like, that's hard, but the reward and the outcome is so much easier than the life that you're living, you know, by staying stuck in those old patterns. So that actually, I guess, brings me into November's challenge, because I'm going to go over that in a second. But if you are actually new to the podcast, or these monthly challenges and you haven't yet listened to the previous monthly challenges, I talk about more in those episodes, I guess the purpose of the challenge and I guess why I decided to do these monthly on the podcast. So you can head back and listen to a previous episode if you want to, I guess, understand a little bit more about the purpose behind it. But yes, so like I said, comfort zone sort of actually leads me into the challenge for the month of November. So for this month, I am challenging you to get outside of your comfort zone, right? I want you to get outside of your comfort zone. And I guess when I reflect on my journey and, over a period of time in my life when I have seen and experienced the most growth and, the most, I guess, profound change in my life, those things and situations, occurrences, timelines have really reflected back from the times that I got out of my comfort zone and did something scary. And honestly, this is truly something that helps us grow, it helps us evolve and become more, I guess, expansive versions of ourselves. And, when we get outside of our comfort zones, yes, I totally acknowledge it's scary. We'll talk a little bit more about fear in a minute. But the more times that we do that thing to get outside of our comfort zone, it helps us to start getting comfortable with the uncomfortable, right? And that's where growth happens. And that's up leveling. That's stepping into a high version of ourselves. It's almost like, going to the gym. And I'll use an example that I have with one of my clients. I started with this particular client 3 weeks ago now. And when she first got in touch with me, she was shit scared of the gym. She's never been in a gym environment before. She, feels totally uncomfortable. She feels really self-conscious in her skin and thinking about the gym, gave her anxiety to the max, right? And that was just over 3 weeks ago. And now, just the other day, she sent me a message saying that how confident she felt walking into the gym and, going on the different machinery and the equipment, obviously, as we had previously done in some of our sessions. And just how grateful she is, I guess, for my support and actually for making the decision to do this. And that is a true example of when we get outside of our comfort zone, because for her, walking into the gym on that first day was hella fucking scary. She was in the car, she literally wanted to drive back home, but she did the scary thing. She did the first session, she got that out of the way, and she actually felt so much more relieved after that, and that it wasn't, I guess, as scary as she thought it was going to be. And not that it wasn't hard, it was hard. And through repetition, like I said, the more times that we do that thing, the more times that we get out of our comfort zone, the easier that it gets. And then we start to become comfortable with that thing. And like I said, that's how we grow. That's how we evolve. That's how we up level. And she is already in just 3 weeks getting into the gym each week, and consistently doing her own workouts. And even the other week she messaged me and said the gym was a little bit busier than it previously had been. So she just walked on the treadmill and did one machine. But and she was a little bit disappointed with herself. But I was like, hang on a minute, girlfriend. Just reflect on 2.5 weeks ago, you had so much anxiety around even walking into the gym. And now the fact that you can do that by yourself and, still, be brave enough to, and, have the courage to go on a machine and, use that machine when the gym was a little bit busier than what you, felt comfortable in, that is a win in itself. So anyways, that is a true example of when you get outside of your comfort zone, yes, it feels hard, but the more times you do that through repetition, it becomes easier. And then that's where our comfort zone expands, right? And that's how we grow as humans. That's how we, up level. And even I guess thinking about, this actually wasn't the challenge that I had originally planned for November. I think last month's episode, I actually had said that I I've already got like November's episode planned, and that was something that I like a common theme that I was working through with my clients, and how much of a difference we noticed, like a profound change in my clients' lives when they were doing this thing, and how much more energized they feel, the impact it had on their mood, their results, and everything else in between. However, I actually decided to change the monthly challenge to something else. And I guess what sort of actually triggered that change is just last week I had a soul session with a like psychic medium, and it was just such a good reminder for me to, one, I guess, get outside of my comfort zone and do the scary thing, but also actually just to give myself permission to do that scary thing. Like noticing, where are you playing small? Like, where are you playing small in your life right now and staying in your comfort zone? And, think about that. Like, what are you going to get from staying in your comfort zone? List out the pros of that and the cons. And then think about, what am I going to get from getting outside of my comfort zone? Pros and cons. And like I said, we'll come back to fear in a minute. But yeah, it was just such a good reminder. I feel like it was one that I just really needed to hear. So yeah, just coming back to your life and really reflecting and noticing where you are staying in your comfort zone, where you are playing small, where you are engaging in old, beliefs and behaviors and patterns that do not serve you. And, I guess areas of your life and maybe things that you do on a daily basis that don't serve you. And I guess thinking about where you want to go, like what decision, what thing can help you get outside of your comfort zone and, take that action towards the life that you do want to live, or, that aligned action. And there was actually something else that I was going to mention off the back of that, and I completely just forgot, which I'm so upset about. But that's what I get for not having any notes. Not that I would actually probably write that down anyways, but yes. So in terms of November's challenge for myself, I usually, I guess, share with you guys what I'm doing for that month. But I'm actually not going to, and I'll touch on that more at the end of this episode. But I do have something in mind, which is hella out of my comfort zone. It scares me. It is aligned with my goals and my bigger picture and vision. It is a scary investment and a scary time investment. It is... yeah, very scary, but I feel like it's something that my intuition is really telling me to do. And I am just sort of contemplating and making, like, in the stages of making my final decision. Yes, so that's what I was actually saying before, in terms of having something in mind for November, and I changed it because of that reason. The soul session I had, and I guess, yeah. Anyways, so let's talk about fear. And I guess, getting outside of our comfort zone brings up a lot of fear, which is totally expected and totally normal. And, when you think about fear, it's like, yes, it's scary, but our goals, our desired outcome or reality, whatever it is literally on the other side of getting outside of our comfort zone. And even if you need to face that fear and actually, when I say face the fear, it doesn't mean, go and just make what's the word I'm thinking of? I don't even know if that's a word, an unlogic decision. I'm not saying to do that. Obviously, think about it and make sure it's aligned with your values and your goals and, your life and lifestyle as a whole, I guess. But, what could be the worst that could happen? Like, evaluate that. When fear is coming up, like, what is the worst thing that could happen by doing that thing? And then, like, reflect on that response, because a lot of the time, the worst thing that could happen actually isn't so bad, but we actually react like it's the worst thing in the world and that we're going to die if we do this thing. But the reality is, like I said, our desired reality is literally on the other side of getting outside of our comfort zone and doing that thing. So In the month of November, you are going to get the fuck out of your comfort zone. That was a little bit rude, actually. You're going to get out of your comfort zone. Let's just say that. And, that's going to look different for absolutely everyone. But, maybe it's making, that career change that you've always wanted to make. Maybe it's, investing in the coach to help you lose the weight for the last time. Not just lose it and then to gain it back on, to lose it for the last time so that you never need to diet again in your life. Maybe it's getting yourself in a community of like-minded women on the same journey as you are, with access to tools and resources to help you reach your goals and I guess, stay plugged into accountability. Maybe it is, maybe it's doing the thing that you have been thinking about doing for so long and listening to intuition and I guess that inner voice inside you that's slowly getting louder and louder. Maybe it's just trusting yourself and doing what you've always wanted to do. But maybe you've been afraid to do that thing because you've been, the fears come up around, people might judge you or people might think differently of you or whatever that story is, like insert story. Trusting yourself and just doing it. Maybe it's going on a retreat by yourself, like doing a solo retreat. Maybe it's booking that holiday because you need a fucking break right now because that's getting outside of your comfort zone. Whatever it is, this month you are doing it. And even if we think about like November's challenge in terms of getting outside of your comfort zone, like if we think about it, it's really been a theme of all of the monthly challenges I've had on the podcast so far. So just thinking off the top of my head, August, like I said, is when I actually started the monthly challenges. And that was the first ever one that I did. And that was to do something that you've wanted to do for a while, but you hadn't yet done it. And then September's challenge was, well, for me, I did the 75 hard. And that was taking the uncomfortable action over the comfortable action. And I guess that was really about that month making the harder choice rather than the I should choice. And then last month's was making an investment in yourself. So if we think about it, like this month's challenge is really been a theme of all the previous ones. So, this is to really, like this month's challenge, especially if you've been engaging in the if you've been engaging, I always like skip out that engaging and just say gauging. Yes, if you've been engaging in the previous monthly challenges and you're doing the November challenge this month, I would encourage you to take that bigger leap this month, that bigger step outside of your comfort zone and do the thing that scares the shit out of you, but you know that it's going to lead to profound change and transformation in your life, right? And like I said, each monthly challenge, I usually share with you what I am doing for the monthly challenge that's obviously in line with that particular challenge. Because, like I've previously said, we are doing this together as a community. But this month, I won't actually be sharing it because, like I said before, it is something that I am not certain on. It's also a surprise because it's something to do with my business. And I'm just sort of weighing up the logical aspect of the decision. So that's what I'm going to leave that at. But in saying that, I'll actually share with you what I did for October's challenge. And I did actually speak a little bit about that in October's episode. But the challenge for October was to make an investment in yourself. And that didn't necessarily mean just money. It could have been, money, time, energy, or anything along those lines. And I had invested in a 30-day money mindset program because it was something that I sort of wanted to, it was like money mindset was something that I was working on, and I felt like that was just really aligned with me at that point. And it's something that I'm about halfway through. With true honesty and transparency, I haven't been as consistent as I would have liked to with it, but it is a go at your own pace sort of thing. So I'm about halfway through, and already it has just made me become aware of, which I knew was there, but it's just, I guess, like a little bit digging deeper into some, I guess, limiting beliefs that aren't serving me, and some, I guess, conditioning that isn't serving my goals, and I guess really about stepping into a more magnetic version of me and attracting the, I guess, wealth that I desire as well. And wealth, not as in just money, but just abundance as a whole. So yes, that's, I guess, a little bit on October's challenge. But that is pretty much all. I think I've covered almost everything that I need to cover. Because like I said, I truly winged today's episode. But like I said, this is also your reminder to just trust yourself and just do the thing. And as always, the next monthly challenge will drop on the 1st of the month. So the next challenge will be the 1st of December, which is approaching the crazy season. But in the meantime, make sure you do go ahead and join the SK Bodyworks community on Facebook. The link is in the show notes below. And you would have heard at the very beginning of this podcast episode, I do currently have spots open for my 12-week group coaching program, Weight Loss Formula. So if you are truly ready to get outside of your comfort zone, and you want to make progress towards your weight loss, health, fitness, and or nutrition goals, that could be your action this month to do the scary thing. And, like I said, your dream goal, desired reality is on the other side of getting outside of your comfort zone. And, fear is going to be something that always comes up no matter what level you're at. Whether you are, the most successful people in the world, they still get fear. Fear doesn't just disappear, but fear favors the bold and the people who are courageous enough to take the action regardless of, where they're at that point in time, right? So your friendly reminder, and don't forget to post in my online community group what you're doing for November's challenge and what you do or did do for October's challenge, and even send me a DM and let me know what you're going to be doing for this month, and how it pans out for you, because I would love to hear. Anyways, that is all from me. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you on soon to be a lot more frequent episodes, and I'll chat to you soon. Bye.